How long does it take to put this in?
Typically, if you're in most American cars, it's very simple. It's just unplug and plug it in. So it's really 5 minutes at the most.
If that harness is open, it should take
if it's easily accessible, it's done.
Just unplug it, put it in between, and
Exactly.
that's it.
The only
Hey guys, Aaron here with LSK. We have our guests here today from Pedal Commander, and we're really excited for them to come. And thanks for joining us here today. If you guys want to introduce your roles at the company and let everyone know what you do.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having us, guys. We appreciate the opportunity. I'm Lucas. I'm the social media strategist over at Pedal Commander.
And I'm Lane. I'm the head technician over at Pedal Commander.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming and talking about it. And I've always heard the name Pedal Commander, and it's cool to, hopefully this kind of helps people understand like what it's all about. As far as obviously we're in the off-road scene, and that's our main thing. What percentage do you see these going in off-road cars versus like on-road cars?
I'd say it's probably in about anywhere from 30 to 40% off-road is our customer base.
Yeah.
Just because so many people they get in their racers and their Can-Ams and things like that it's responsive, but they want to have that tunability, that adjustability of their throttle response, that they can choose whatever they want.
So as far as what you guys offer, let's say just focus on the off-road community. UTVs, so do you offer for most of the common UTVs like a Razor, the new Pro R, Turbo R?
Yeah.
Are those all available?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay,
Luckily for the most part, for most of those vehicles, as long as they're in that same brand, they all pretty much use the same pedal assembly plug.
That's easy. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And same thing for a Dodge versus a Chevy. They have the different connectors, so you would buy it specific for that vehicle, correct?
Exactly, correct.
And that's pretty cool. So it's tailored for the vehicle. You guys use plugs that fit into the OEM fittings, and essentially what it's doing is it's connecting between the pedal and the harness of the vehicle. So we're not programming something. We're not sending a flash out. We're not modifying an ECU. We're literally just putting something in between to alter the signal from the pedal. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, it's to give you full adjustability of your throttle response.
Okay. And is it something that works where it's like a 0 to 10 volt signal, or?
Yeah. So basically, it's taking in a 5-volt signal for the most part in most pedals, and it's essentially adjusting how much voltage is being sent to the ECU.
Okay. So if I press my pedal, 25%, and let's say a round number, 2.5 volts.
Yeah.
Your system would essentially amplify that to 5 volts, so you get there quicker. So
Correct.
You press a little bit, but it's actually the vehicle thinks you're pressing it a lot more.
Exactly.
And you can adjust that curve. That's where
it comes into play, honestly.
Right.
Like the biggest thing that I think a lot of people need to understand about us is that it's totally customizable. Like if you don't want to drive your car in Sport Plus, Plus 4, that's our craziest track mode setting.
Right.
Don't do it. Like that's the best thing, because it's tailor made for you by you, essentially. We're giving you the tools to play with it how you want. Obviously you could put it in Sport Plus, Plus 4 if you want. For me, I keep mine in I think City Plus 2, and that's more than enough for me. I mean, I know personally I have a Dodge myself, and it's people with heavier cars, big displacement motors, they love it because it gets them to get up and go a lot quicker than they normally would, because you have the power there. It's just it's a heavy beast, man.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I mean, the off-road community I think actually likes them, just to go off of it, because I mean we do get a lot of people from that community that they love it because it's just, again, the customizability of it, because they could put it in that Sport Plus mode for track purposes if they're doing some courses, but also they're getting on and off the trailer. It's a lot nicer to have it in eco mode, so you don't have that worry of just overshooting and undershooting. You're good to go. But then on top of that, rock crawls, everything like that, when you need to just kind of flutter it, you don't want to get on it hard at all, that eco mode saves lives, honestly, just because you can just...
So not just enhancing the signal, but you're also delaying it. So if we're going rock crawling and we hit the gas, essentially in that eco mode, it's delaying it. It's giving you the chance to kind of catch up. Exactly. That's actually really cool.
And the great thing about it is, again, with the adjustability, you can fine-tune eco mode, city mode, sport mode, all of these individual ones to be more sensitive or less sensitive just for your taste.
Wow. And as far as adjusting that, is that a computer program? Is that just reaching out to you guys? Is it right on the control? How do you do that?
So basically it depends. If you're feeling that you want more out of your unit, we can definitely make a custom mapping.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, it's just adjusting it directly from the
It's
unit
just,
itself.
so you guys pre-program what you
Yeah.
think everyone's going to like, and
Exactly.
usually that's it.
That's
gonna
usually
make it
the
work.
bread and butter for everybody. There
Yeah.
are the few stragglers that are like, oh, this isn't responsive enough. They're used to like
Yeah.
just big superchargers that are attached to throttle cables, so it's
Yeah.
instant. There's no delay.
Right.
So they want that responsiveness.
So you guys will custom do that.
Exactly.
Is there a service charge for doing that, or
not usually. We haven't charged for it.
pretty
because it's-
straightforward? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
honestly, it goes both ways too. Actually, I'm glad you asked that because the other day we had this guy come in with pushing over 1,000 horsepower on his Cadillac. He had like a CTSV, and the dude literally couldn't get traction regardless. So
Okay,
we had
yeah.
to tune it down essentially.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, like, he loved it. Like, it felt weird to do that to a car, granted, but it's
Yeah.
also like, it's all about you at the end of the day. If you need it for a certain purpose, or you can't use your car the way you
Yeah.
want to, we're just trying to enable that.
It's almost like a launch mode where it's not like you give it all right off the bat. It lets it kind of roll into the acceleration, so you don't just lose.
Exactly.
Because the second you lose traction, you're not really doing much.
Oh no.
No,
You know,
especially in
not
a
at
car
all.
like that where it's like you have so
Yeah.
much power, but you just can't use it.
Right. And as far as like power goes, do I need to give it 12 volts or anything, or is everything right through that harness where you plug
Everything's
it in?
right through that harness.
So I don't need to do any special wiring, soldering, crimping,
Nope.
nothing. Just plug it in.
Exactly. Just
That easy.
unplug your
How long
gas
does it take
pedal.
to put this in?
Typically, if you're in most American cars, it's very simple. It's just unplug and plug it in. So it's really
Wow.
5 minutes at the most.
If that harness is open, it should
Oh,
take
yeah, if
what,
it's
like-
easily accessible,
yeah.
it's done.
Just unplug it,
The
put
only-
it in between, and
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
it.
The only times that we've seen where it's difficult is on certain German cars, certain Japanese cars, where you have to actually remove the pedal to access
yeah.
the plug.
Yeah.
But usually it's one bolt or two
Yeah, nothing
screws holding
crazy.
the thing together. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Very cool.
It's like seeing how it works. Honestly, it makes sense when you lay it out like that. Because especially when you open the package, it's kind of a lot at first. But then we label everything as one in and one out.
Yeah.
You plug them both in, and it's just like that's my favorite thing. Honestly, is like when someone actually installs it. It's that like that was a little bit too easy kind of feeling.
Right.
And then they actually start the car and like take off, and they're just like, oh my god, like
Yeah,
it did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
right,
that
right.
wow moment that it's kind of it makes me feel good. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I mean, as far as like Pedal Commander goes, when you guys said you started sometime around 2000,
Yeah.
like 2013-ish?
So we actually started out in 2011.
Oh, 2011,
Yeah,
okay.
2011 was we were in the European market. We were doing a lot of R&D actually. It took about a year to develop like our kind of not end product, but like a good starting point
Okay,
for our product.
yeah.
So by 2012 we were production, pretty much all over Europe. Like people were loving it over there, and then they made the choice to bring it over here, and we've been in the U.S. ever since. Honestly, we've been almost since 2015. So I'm not going to do the math right now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's been a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like we've definitely made our home here.
What was the inspiration? Do you know what caused them to want to do this? Like, was there something that made them want to do it?
Yeah, so I think originally we Pedal Commander's under Vitalin Auto Performance, and like
Okay.
we essentially have a few different options. We've got chip work, which it's a chip tuning, and that was what we originally were doing. And basically, people would get the chip, they'd tune their vehicle. It basically alters the amount of boost and things like that. But people were still seeing that lag in the throttle response. So realistically, they were like, okay, well, I've done all this. I've spent this money on this chip tune, and I'm still seeing a little bit of a delay. And that was where it was like, okay, well, there isn't a thing to buy back then to do that. So that was where the market was just like, well, I mean, there's clearly a market here.
Right.
So it was just a matter of just seeing people are adding these tunes to these modern vehicles with drive-by-wire that they were just like, oh, wait. I'm still seeing this lag. I need to alleviate that, and that was where it just started from there.
Very cool.
I think it honestly comes down to sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I think it comes down to also a lot of people get really used to not having drive-by-wire. If you're used to that cable response, it's kind
Right,
of
like the instant, like
Yeah.
right when you open up the
Throttle body is
right,
going.
it's like instant, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
then
like-
you drive a Silverado and it's like you press the pedal and 2 seconds later it kind of catches up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like that's why it can go the other way too, where it's like people that are used to a wired system. It's kind of like at first it's like whoa, like
Right.
I what is this kind of because
Yeah.
they really if they've never driven one, it is a whole different experience, and it's like to a lot of people, to me myself, it's much more of like a kind of instant connection. It makes the car feel a lot more alive and ready to go whenever you want it.
Yeah.
But also, it can take some getting used to. Like, I mean, especially like I said, if you haven't driven a car that hasn't used drive-by-wire, give it a day and then you'll start loving it.
Right. It's definitely a something you will probably learn to love after you give it a try.
Yeah, once you have it, you can't go without.
Yeah. So as far as like, I see a lot of people or name people running this stuff. Who's running this and advocating for your brand out there?
I mean, there's a bunch, honestly, you're right. It's kind of like been all over the place for a while just because, I mean, people love it. And then also we love putting ourselves back into the whole industry as a whole.
Okay.
We've been huge in Formula Drift for a long time, actually. A couple drivers we have there. But right now, probably like one of the bigger ones is Odie Bacchus. Great driver. He's been using us for years. And it's like having someone like him as an advocate is just
awesome.
It's insane to us. But then at the same time, like in the off-road community, I mean, Blake Wilkie, I'm sure you guys know him. You've been around him a couple times. Great dude, but also he loves the product. And it's like, I
think he's running on most of his vehicles, right?
He's running it on all of his vehicles.
All of them, right?
Honestly,
Awesome. Yeah.
We just dropped one off for his Pro R. So
okay,
I mean,
cool.
He's definitely equipped. But but he's also the guy that we talked about earlier, where it's like you have the dudes that go Sport Plus +4, the max track setting all the time. He's that guy. So like he's the guy that's always on it, and it's an experience, man. I mean, when I first met him, it was like he had the excitement for our product that like it was intoxicating. You know what I mean? It made you get more excited about it as well, just because he knows like he's been around. He does all these crazy builds.
Yeah.
But like, besides the colors, the one thing that's like the same and congruent amongst all of them is the pedal commander, and I think that says something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he's rocking it on one and he likes another, obviously, it means something that he likes the way it feels and what it's doing to his car.
Exactly. And it's, I mean, we actually just went to King of the Hammers. We saw him do it there. I mean, it's really awesome to see it kind of grow as a whole. I think we're trying to get back more into the off-road side of things because we've been big into Formula Drift for a long time, but we're definitely, because I mean, with the off-road community being almost 40%, let's say, of our sales and of the people that we, go towards, we need to make ourselves known to get back out there because it's like, I mean, like, there's so many perks to it that a lot of people don't know about that they could just so utilize. Like, even if it's there, you're going to use it,
Yeah, no, definitely. As far as, presence out there, are you guys planning on going to SEMA or anything like that? Or
yeah, so actually this next year we're looking at kind of like a pretty packed schedule. Honestly, we have like all of Formula Drift to look forward to, but then besides that, like you said, SEMA's big on our list. We went this last year. We weren't sure honestly how would it be just after COVID-19 and everything when people were returning to normal, but like we didn't know if it would be quite normal yet. But going this last year, it was pretty insane, man. It was great to see how many people came out there and just.
That's awesome.
We're loving to be back in it. So we're going to be boothing next year. We're going to be going a little wild. I don't know if you see it, but we've kind of been known for getting a little bit crazy with our booth. But
okay.
I mean, we're a little bit crazy
What do you guys
too.
do that's different? Like what makes it crazy?
Just big, loud. Yeah. I mean, like we bring Blake by. We have a huge, just like it must be like a 20 by 20, like just wall of just yellow for pedal command. It's a standout because I mean, SEMA's the place to do it. You know?
Definitely.
Like if you're gonna be like that, it's okay there.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming today, and thanks for visiting and talking about your product. And it seems like you guys are onto something that's just been great and keep killing it. And we're excited. So very cool.
Thanks for having us.
Man. Now let's get you to go try one outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any feedback, please leave some comments below. Let us know who else you'd like to see on this podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
See you guys.